Americans for Fair Taxation presents the Weekly Chairman's Report, written by Steve Hayes, president of Americans for Fair Taxation, and recorded by Bob Paxton, a volunteer with the Florida FAIRtax Educational Association. And now, this week's Chairman's Report.
Hello, I'm Bob Paxton with the AFFT Chairman's Report for Friday, January 31st, 2020. Congressman John Larson introduced the Social Security 2100 Act, and it now has 208 Democrat co-sponsors, just 8 short of the number needed to pass the bill in the House. On his website, Congressman Larson states that the bill will expand benefits for all current and future Social Security recipients, cut income taxes for over 10 million seniors by exempting more of their income from other sources, ensure that the system remains solvent for the rest of the century, exempt people who earn between $136,000 and $400,000 from payroll taxes, but subject salaries over $400,000 to the payroll taxes, gradually increase those payroll taxes from 12.4% to 14.8%, and base cost of living increases on a basis that is more reflective of inflation. Now, in an article entitled 5 Issues with the Social Security 2100 Act, authored by Sean Williams for Motley Fool, Mr. Williams makes the following points. According to the Social Security Board of Trustees, the program is facing a mammoth cash shortfall of $13.9 trillion between 2035 and 2093, which is the result of a combination of ongoing demographic changes. In less than 16 years, benefits may have to be cut up to 23% for retired workers. More than 3 out of 5 retired workers depend on Social Security for at least half of their monthly income. Since its inception in 1935, the full retirement age for Social Security has risen by just 2 years, from 65 to 67, despite the average life expectancy increasing by more than 10 years since 1935. And he says the bill does not consider the declining birth rates, which will mean fewer and fewer workers supporting more and more retirees. Now, despite his good intentions to protect Americans' retirement benefits, Congressman Larson and his co-sponsors are not only keeping the regressive payroll tax, they're increasing the rate of that tax. Now, unlike the income tax, the payroll tax is paid from the first dollar earned, and now it doesn't apply to incomes in excess of $136,000 for 2020. A teen earning $3,000 for summer work pays the same percentage as a doctor earning $130,000, and a family of 4 pays the same percentage as a single person. In addition, since the employer pays 50% of the payroll tax, this increases the cost of hiring employees and may not be factually true. Many economists believe that the payroll tax paid by the employer would otherwise be paid to the employee, and if this is the case, then the employee is really paying most, if not all, of the payroll tax. So let's look at the FAIRtax solution and contrast Congressman Larson's bill with how Social Security and Medicare would be funded under the FAIRtax. The declining birth rate would not be a problem because the funding for Social Security and Medicare comes from the FAIRtax's rate of 23%. While seniors and children may not be working, they are consuming, and they will also be contributing to the solvency of Social Security. Because of the prebate, the FAIRtax is progressive, unlike the present payroll tax. Workers will get their entire paycheck and only pay taxes when they purchase new goods and retail services that are subject to the FAIRtax. A teen saving for college will not have payroll taxes deducted from his or her earnings, and since tuition costs are not subject to the FAIRtax either, he or she will have more money available to pay for college, lessening the need to take on student debt. If additional funds are required to ensure solvency, then the rate will only have to be increased a small amount because it is being paid by all consumers, not just by a reducing number of workers. If prices increase once the FAIRtax is passed, then the FAIRtax Act provides that the amount of Social Security payments will also increase. In conclusion, Congressman Larson and his co-sponsors are sincere in wanting to ensure that Social Security works for workers and retirees. However, they're trying to solve a 2020 problem with a 1935 solution that has proven unworkable. In addition to not taking into account the declining number of workers relative to the number of retired people, the Act also does not address the fact that even more jobs will be lost because robots are projected to replace 20 million workers by 2030. Will the congressman propose to make employers contribute a certain amount for each worker replaced by a robot? Albert Einstein said, "The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result." Congressman Larson, isn't it time to discard the broken payroll tax system and fund Social Security in a better way, a way that will protect it not just for the next few years, but going forward from now on? Isn't it time that we demand the solution that benefits everyone? Pass the FAIRtax, the only truly fair tax.
This has been the Weekly Chairman's Report, written by Steve Hayes, President of Americans for Fair Taxation. Check back every week for news and information about the fair tax, and learn why the fair tax should replace our antiquated federal income tax system. If you'd like to receive a copy of the Chairman's Report in your inbox every week, sign up at fairtax.org.